Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy Saturday. As you can tell, I went straight from the gym to the office. Yep, it's a Saturday and we're working. That's what we do, and we're happy to do it. It's our mission. Anyway, in this video, I'm going to talk about the Baker Act and specifically what happens. What happens if your loved one goes to a placement hearing and the judge or the general magistrate issues an order for placement. In other words, says, "Yep, we're keeping him." Now, in this particular case that I dealt with, we got the call after the fact. They'd hired another lawyer, and just so we're clear here, this is not a video about bashing the lawyer. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened in the hearing. So this is about what we can do after the fact. So there was a hearing, and the young lady who is I guess mid-20s. This is the second call I've had in about a week about an autistic child being Baker Acted. The general magistrate absolutely dropped the hammer and gave her 6 months, the maximum, and is sending her to a state hospital. And of course, the mother called us absolutely distraught, really upset about it, and said, "Okay, what can we do? What are our options?" So I think there are probably two viable options. Number one, the hearing was in front of a general magistrate. So the difference between a general magistrate and a judge is that a general magistrate, who you can think of as like a junior judge, he or she wears the robe. As lawyers, we call the general magistrate Your Honor. They make evidentiary rulings, they make findings of fact. The one thing they cannot do is issue a court order. A general magistrate cannot issue a court order. What they can issue is a report and recommendations, which is sort of 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, depending on how long the hearing was, outlining the findings the magistrate made and making a recommendation as to whether or not the petition for placement issued by the facility should be granted or denied. Okay, and then what he does is the general magistrate then sends that report and recommendations to the judge. The judge looks at it and says, "Okay, yeah, sounds good," and then issues the court order. So this particular hearing was in front of a general magistrate, and because there's no court order issued, only a report and recommendations, you have 10 days from the date of the hearing to file what's known as exceptions. Think of it as an appeal, right? You're really just appealing the ruling of the general magistrate to the judge. And so you've got 10 days to file exceptions. It means you have to get the transcript, you have to file the exceptions, making whatever argument you want to make. And so the point of the exceptions is to basically tell the judge, the general magistrate got it wrong. She made incorrect rulings, or he made incorrect rulings during the hearing, and here's why. And so that's one of the things that you can do. And it can be a timely process, quite frankly. And in the middle of this thing, your loved one gets shipped off somewhere. And so I think that's one avenue. The other avenue that I think may be better is to file some type of motion, or not some type of motion, a motion to get the person moved from the public facility to a private facility. Now, the statute is pretty clear about that. You have a right to do that. And it's not discretionary, it's shall. But we are in the court system, and I can tell you, for the first time I had a hearing in front of a general magistrate about a month ago, and she denied that motion and said it was up to the doctor. I respectfully disagreed with her, but my client was like, "No, I think the best thing," and I said this to the client, was, "Let's not waste time filing exceptions. It's too slow. Let's get him moved." So we're in the midst of getting his son moved. And I think personally that's the quickest way to get somebody, out of the state system and into a private system. But, that's not always the option that the client wants to pursue. So really two options: file exceptions, slower process, probably more costs involved because you've got to order the transcript. Well, actually you have to order the recording, then order the transcript. And so it can be slow and laborious, and it can be expensive. I think the quickest path of the fastest way to get somebody out is to file some type of motion. But again, you got to hire somebody who knows what the hell they're doing with these things, and you have to have a place to put them that's clinically appropriate. Not every private facility is going to want to take somebody, especially if the court's already issued an order of placement and says, "Hey, they're going to the state hospital." A lot of facilities don't want to touch that. And so I think these are the two ways to deal with it. If the hearing's not in front of a general magistrate and the hearing was actually in front of a judge, then you have to, I guess you could look to petition the court for a rehearing, but ultimately you probably have to file an appeal to the court, the appellate court, the one that sits above the trial court. Again, it's a slow, laborious, and frankly expensive, timely process. I don't think it's the path of least resistance, but again, this is one of the things that you can do. But I wanted to share this with you because, I mean, and I get potential clients calling us and they're like, well, we're going to wait and see if he's released. We'll wait and see if she's released. And I tell them, listen, you're taking a hell of a risk. If you wait long enough, could they get released? Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time. But my philosophy is that you play offense. And I've seen it happen so often where a family waits and waits and waits, and then there's a hearing and their loved one gets stuck. And if they get the wrong judge, the wrong general magistrate, or the facts are just so egregious, the hammer gets dropped. The next thing you know, they're off to a state hospital for 6 months. And that's not a place you want anyone going to that you care about. Trust me, I've seen what happens there. These places they're lunatic asylums. That's the only way I can describe it. And the staff there just don't treat the patients well. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Slightly longer video today, but thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.